All right, folks, before I get into today's video or this week's episode, if you will, I'd just like to give a big shout out to Jeremy and 4 States Truck Parts for sending me those 3-inch tank strap rubbers. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have been able to get this thing back together. Well, I would have found some on Amazon and waited for a while, but Jeremy got those to me in like 2 days when he sent them. So if you want to get something, use promo code Keegan10 to get 10% off anything at their store that's not on sale at 4 States Truck Parts in Joplin, Missouri. So with that being said, let's get into today's video.
On the show, on the Chad Keegan YouTube channel.
What's going on? Just getting ready to paint these really quick because I am doing some stuff. These are the wedges for the Daytons. Yeah. So I wanted to make sure I wasn't going to need new ones, and those look like there's a gap there, there's a gap there, so they're going to squeeze in there good. And there's a little bit of play there. This one is all the way back, so I was concerned about it, but it was okay. And you're probably wondering, how'd you do that by yourself? Because I talked to somebody and he said, yeah, you're gonna need somebody else there to help you get those back on, to get these plates lined up and stuff like that. Now, if you notice, I have both of the valve stems right next to each other. That way you don't have to go searching around. You're just boom, boom if you're doing your tires. And this one was put on backwards, so the date code is right here on it, 1525, and then all the rest of them that are like this have the yellow dot where the valve stem is at. I do believe that might have been the first one we did, so that's cool that it's going on the outside here. And you walk out of your truck, you need to check your tires. There's an officer coming, boom, he's gonna look at that, he's gonna see that right there, so he's gonna know you're good. And just to help a guy out when he's doing tires, I put those anyways right next to each other. So since I have this up on jack stands, I took my handy dandy ratchet strap like I always do, and I used this piece right here to hold up against the tire to pull this back to where it would be straight, so I didn't muck any of the frame up or anything like that. I didn't want to hook anything to it, if you know what I mean. Since I just painted this thing, I'm trying to keep it as fresh as possible, if you know what I mean. So bada bling, bada bloom. Now, I'm not going to do this. I just wanted to put it on and check those, because if I needed to order some, I need to get things done, because I'm on a time crunch now. I'm pushing to the deadline, you know what I'm saying? I am being an Iron Man and doing what I have to do for this truck to get it done by Matt. So that's what it'll look like. I'm going to take those off though, because I'm going to paint those, because they need painted. I'm not going to put those on like that. If I've painted everything else up, that's just kind of silly, don't you think? Because I do. All right, with that being said, most of the tape's off. Ooh, I forgot those spots. But the paint, I do believe, is dry. I've touched it. It's soft. It's smooth. I mean, there's orange peel. There's some really significant orange peel up in this section, and on the other side in the same section. I just don't understand what was going on with that. Everything else laid pretty smooth, but there's still orange peel on the whole cab, except for like right up around here. You don't see any. I don't know what it is about these areas right here. These are like my sweet spots when I paint. Everything else is hit or miss. And the top is super smooth too, and it laid well because it was probably laying on flat stuff. But yeah, that stuff is hard to shoot. I mean, it's all covered though, so that's what matters. Some of the flaws you're not going to be able to tell unless you're sitting there being real nitpicky. But yeah, there's still dents and all that kind of stuff. They didn't want me to take all of them out, so I said, okay, I won't. Let's leave it with some character. Everything has to have character in life, or it's not going to be any fun if it's perfect, you know what I mean? So that's what it is. So yeah, I gotta spray those really quick. Hopefully I have enough black paint, because I was doing some touch up because I had to get some overspray on some things before I took all the plastic off. I noticed that. So it's what it is. But that license plate is very close to that, and that is brighter than what I do believe they wanted. But it's what it is, man. It's what it is. So that's what it is. Yeah, I'm doing that. I gotta paint those, so I'll be back. Wednesday, hump day, our favorite day of the week, and let's do some stuff and walk around real quick before I get started on things and I lose track of time and things get done and you don't get to see them. Today I'm going to fill the batteries in, hook all that back up, and put the tanks on, mount the tanks with that 3-inch rubber I got from Forest State. So I'll be doing that. Pretty much got everything set up where it needs to be so I can hook things up. I'd like to be able to move the truck this weekend. That's my goal. Last night Tommy Chuck Parking and a guy that was with him stopped by because they were going to help Noah take down some banners outside, and then next thing you know, Noah had got them done, and they were here and they were looking at the truck, and I said, hey, come look at this. I had the fifth wheel sitting right under here on a pallet. I said, there's 4 of us here, we can just lift it on. So I pulled the pallet back. We pretty much got on the side of it. Each one of us lifted the corner. I had 2 boards sitting right here on towels, which didn't mess any of the frame up. We sat it right here. One guy jumped here, the other guy jumped there. Lifted it from the back. He got it to right here. I came around the front. I climbed up here. I grabbed the front and I set it right in the pockets, and then I put the pins in. I still need to get some pins and stick in there, but yeah, they were stepping on this stuff and it didn't cause any problems, so that's what's up. But this tank's sitting out here too. I just brought the tanks out and put everything out here that way because I'm still painting some things back there. I've got all that stuff cleaned up over there. I still need to do that stuff over there, which I'll take you over there and we can get closer. But I need to do some fab work right here, so I need to have Noah come and hold that new exhaust bracket for me. That way I can do what I need to do with that, so I can get that up and mounted and figure that situation out before I put this side of the tank on with that 3-inch rubber I got from 4 States. That was the only place I could find it at, and Jeremy hooked me up and sent it to me. So once I break things down, I'll get to a little bit of a better installation video. Got all the fluids I needed so I can change the filters out and stuff like that and do a change. Pretty much ran to town yesterday morning. The first 2 hours of the day I spent going around and getting a itinerary list for bolts and stuff like that. These all got grade 8s. I just put grade 8s. These might get changed out to stainless, I don't know. I did get the stainless screws though for this, when these go back on. I took them back off. I had them on just so they could see what it looked like, but I want to be able to wax that stuff, so took them back off. I told them I'm not going to do anything to the truck until I want to wax it. I want to wax the truck, but I have to lay pinstripe and stuff like that down, and I need to be able to put their decals on, which I told them they need to get me the font and a cutout or something so I can put it on, because I just don't want to freehand it on. That's too much work and stress for me right now. I've got so much shit going on, so it's what it is. But yeah, so I got basically everything I need to do for the lubes, the changes and stuff like that. I got some stuff for the interior there. Here's our brackets that we got, and those bolt patterns that don't look right, so I had to tap those out the other day because I painted them. Yeah, those cleaned up pretty decent. We'll get some more once overs. Got the mirrors off and stuff like that and clean them up. That stuff still needs done. I've got a couple things over here soaking. I'm probably going to have to cut those off with a cutoff tool because I cannot get those bolts to break free. And I don't want to break those because I can't find those. I did find some in Canada, but they're like $150 a piece. So trying to use the old stuff and original stuff that we have, because time is crucial right now for this process, so it's what it is. Yeah, these will still need cleaned up, taped off, and painted, that stuff. So that's going to be a chore right there. I can tell you that much right now. That may be like one of the last things I do, because I've got so much other stuff to do, which it should go quick once I get moving. But the problem is we got parts from Rainey's that they need to be able to do shoots with, installation shoots, and they're always busy. So I told them, I said, Saturday, you're going to have to just be out here and we have to do that because it needs to be done. Or I'm just going to end up putting the stuff together, and it's what it is, because I don't have time to wait on somebody else, if you know what I mean. Here's my exhaust brackets and stuff like that. All that's painted up and ready to go. These are for the straps. Those are the pins that go in the straps. Those are the mirrors. Kind of mucked them up yesterday, so I needed to re-sand those down and do that. These are the straps, driver's side, passenger side. So those can get put on once I get the tanks done. But yeah, it's starting to get there. I mean, it is work in progress. So still need to spray in the door jambs too, so that's why I want to put some wax on it. That way when I spray in the door jambs, whatever I don't tape off and cover, it should be just able to wipe off in somewhat of an easy manner. But yeah, there's a bunch of detail work too. These actually didn't go on that bad when I put these on. I showed you how to do it. Everything's been torqued down and marked. So yeah, you can do that by yourself. You just have to be smarter than I need someone else to hold this, because I can't do it. But I ran over to Global Truck Parts yesterday and picked up some stuff. These don't fit, they're too big. That's for my trailer. Those are for my trailer. Got them a couple of these caplators, and oddly enough, only one of those things had clips in them. And I searched through the whole thing, and these are just somewhat of a pain in the ass. They do not want to go on there, and they are the right size because they're the same size of the ones that I took off. and I don't want to necessarily dent them up. So if anybody has a trick on how to get those on just to pop on easier than slam them on and dent them up, let me know, because yeah, that'd be cool. But those need cleaned up still. Those look good. Everything looks good. That looks good. Still need to put a bolt in there because I got to tap some of that out because it won't go because of the way this thing is wonked out and kicked out and stuff. And then those two I can actually tap out easy. And we probably should have put this on before I mounted the tires, and I thought about that, and then I thought, I can still do it. And then that is a thing of beauty. And then there's a little international thing right there I'm gonna paint. I just haven't got to it yet because I'm extremely busy and I'm only one guy. Those things need repainted and touched up, or another coat, because that stuff just ran off. That paint just ran off. That stuff was so smooth it just ran off. And then some of my orange peel up at the top needs some wax. But other than that, yeah, we're just doing it. I'm gonna turn the music back on. I'm gonna move my buckets of stuff over there that I need to do. I need to add some differential fluid, and then I need to add some transmission fluid before I get too ahead of myself and try to start a truck and move it without any fluids in there, if you know what I mean. So get myself set up for success. Hopefully I can track Noah down and get him out here to help me out for a little bit. Putting grade 8 bolts on everything, so if you see some yellow bolts sticking out where you'd probably think they would be black, that's because they're brand new and they're probably not going to get painted unless they say, hey, can you paint those? Then I'll say yeah, and I'll just use a paint marker and paint them or touch them up or something. But I'll put stainless on the ones. If not, you know what grade 8 is when you see that yellow bolt. Okay, so I got the batteries installed and all hooked up. I was going to jump in there and turn the key to make sure they were good, but got the door unlatched, so that thing would have come all the way open with it being up, so I just closed it and said I'll leave you alone. Those are ready. Those got rubbers on them. One has rubbers on them over there, so then I can get that ready after I get those back sections covered up with some rubbers. This is the last one. This is that diamond plate one that was black, painted black, and I just painted it black because tracking these down wasn't something that I was too worried about. Besides, I needed those two because they had the brackets. I looked at the beginning. I didn't see anything like that when I first started taking the truck apart, so I said, piss on it, we're going with the old stuff. Why not? As kind of guys we are, we like to fix up old things and just use old stuff the way it was, we got it, you know. So you're probably wondering, these things are a pain in the ass. I've got this body panel remover right here, and basically would start one side and then I'd flip it over and do that, and then I just plop this bitch on right like this right here, and that is how I am getting this to just slap on so stinking easy, because it sometimes can be a pain in the butt. But I've got that now. I just wanted to show you this little tool and that little trick of mine, so if you ever have to do this, you might be able to get her taken care of and not struggle with it, not scratch your shit up, especially if it's painted or aluminum or chrome. So now I just have to put some on the back, cut those out, put some goop on. One size should fit all. Looks like the 3 up here, and then they get wider in the centers. So I may need to cut the sides off of these because I don't think I can get those to go around there, so I may have to do some trimming and some fab work on that. But once I get ready to install the actual tanks, I'll bring you back and probably do a time lapse, because I'm gonna have to put the bottom pins in. I'll pull my cardboard back, I'll put the bottom pins in, and then I will put the tank up there, put a strap on it, do that, tighten it up, and then I'll probably just slap those up and do what I got to do. So I do have this on right here. This is on and all mocked up. These, I need to get some longer ones of these because they're just not long enough. Yes, these are grade 8. I know they're a different color than what they are. That's fine though, because that shows you that everything's being put together with grade 8. That thing is on there tight. That'll need touched up because of some scuffs on some paint. It's what it is. It ain't no big deal. I'm sure that whole backside will need it anyways because that was sprayed. with a can and not the big stuff, because I sprayed the other side with the big stuff when I had it down, and then I just had to touch up that thing a little bit. But yeah, I'll have to run to the hardware store for those. That's all taken care of, like I had said. Let's go over here really quick. I have gotten these installed. So these were the new brackets that we had gotten, and oddly enough, they were a pain in the ass, and so is that step, but all that stuff's on there with the grade 8 bolts. Yes, the color doesn't match, so what? But what was I coming over here for? I was coming over here for something. Oh yeah, I had to take this off and paint it again really quick because I had some runs at one spot you were going to be able to see. But this thing has this big notch right here, which I don't know what it is, and then there's another one down here, and that is exactly where that wire goes to on that to hold it in there. And that wire, those wires are being a straight pain in the ass. Haven't even messed with them yet to try to get those off. I heated them up too yesterday a little bit, and then I just couldn't get them to break free. My wife says, why don't you stick them in some baking soda and some vinegar or something like that and have a chemical reaction, and that stuff might eat it off. I said, I don't know, maybe it will, maybe it won't. And I looked up different things, and it was much acid and shit, and I don't want to go dragging around town looking for acid when I got other shit to do that's more important than getting those two things off. I'll get them off eventually. It just may take a while. And if I have to stick them in some Coca-Cola and soak overnight or something, that's probably what I'm gonna have to do, is soak some shit overnight. But I'm not necessarily worried about that until this weekend. Hopefully I'll have those taken care of by this weekend. All those, there's 3 that need to come off over there, so hopefully that'll be taken care of by this weekend. It is Wednesday, hump day, our favorite day of the week. I do believe it is about 2:30 right now, so I'm getting off here, and I'm getting back to what I was doing, so I'll catch up with you after bed. Well, both tanks are on now, secured and fastened and hooked up. All I need to do is dump some fuel in this thing, and I might be able to start it up. And you still put some lube in, but I think I'm gonna go get a pump. That way I can just shove a tube in the hole and not try to lift that 5-gallon bucket and dump a bunch of stuff all over and make a mess. Fuel sending unit here for the gauge is hooked back up. All the lines are hooked back up. All I need to do is clean out the Cushman and then get some fuel transferred in that bucket and dump it in here, and from Frank, and we are good. And then I might try to fire it up, so I guess we'll see. Well, I dumped fuel in there. Thought I was going to start it, but there's a drip somewhere. So I just got done unhooking all this stuff in this strap, and I sucked all the fuel out, so right there it is. It's dripping right out of there. So I'm gonna pull this strap down and see if I can't find it, because I will patch the thing if I can. Okay. Oh, it's just running down, boy. It is just a running down. I need to go get this little light of mine, because it's right there. Right there at the bottom where it's all ate out, probably. You know, that's the only thing you don't do, is check the bottom of the tank when you're doing stuff. I did patch a couple spots up here that were really bad. I had a few spots X'd, and they all got sanded out, so it's what it is. Hopefully that's the only one. I do believe that is. I need to grab my light and check it out, so hopefully I can get that assist taken care of. Most of the fuel is out of the truck. The light is over here. I did suck it back down. I had it to the line up there, if you can see that line that's still in the tank. Let's just call it the algae line. Had it to the algae line, and then yeah, that was it. So it's right there on the bottom. It's probably where that rot's at. So I'm gonna have to suck the rest of it out. I don't want to take it all off if I don't have to, because I just hooked this up, and this one's not as bad, but I do have the fuel lines hooked up, which if I needed to, I'd take them off. But I do have fuel in that tank too, so I'm probably just gonna try and do it here. Let's see what the light says. Yep, light says that is the spot. Good thing is there's not a ton of fuel. Yeah, right there. There's not a ton of fuel in here, so if it drips out, it ain't that big of a deal all night. But I do have a smaller, that hand pump that I have in my side box that I only use for water. I'd got another one after I used that one before. So if I need to, I can use that to suck the rest of the diesel fuel out, let this dry, clean it up, and then throw some patch on it and pray that it works. I may go get some epoxy. We'll see. Well, it's starting to come together. I just finished tapping out some of the holes for the frame because I couldn't get those bolts in, remember? So instead of actually cutting into the frame because it was so hard, I just trimmed off some of the plate, some of this, that way I could get the bolts to go in all the way. That's basically what you got to do when you're working with stuff like this, especially when it's bowed out like that. It's just what it is. This tank sawn looks good. Was able to get off the nuts and bolts for the things I couldn't, so that can start going back together. I can throw that on today because I have those cables right there, and those are for the air breather. Those we got back from Teams. Those are for the stack and the breather, and then I taped those off yesterday and I painted them, and unfortunately it came out textured, so I'm going to try and throw some clear on there to smooth that out a little bit. I still need to do the big piece over here, which I'll do that probably later this afternoon. I'll clean all this up and then tape that off. That took me like 2 hours literally to tape those, even though it seemed like it went quick. It did take a while. All that stuff is done and ready to go back on once I pull the mirrors out. I need to check those out and then pull the tape off. I did install those yesterday in this. I installed those. I've come to the decision that it's probably best for the truck and the integrity of what it is right now as the way it looks in the company for me not to decal and paint anything on the doors, because this isn't my truck and I'm just not where I need to be doing that kind of stuff. I did do this last night. You seen that brush work. That's fine down there, but on the side of the door and something like that, I don't want. Now that I can see in the light, I can see different spots, and I'm not too happy with it because the lighting is so messed up around here. It is hard to see things, and I don't believe that's reflection from the beams, even though it could be. I don't know. It just looks darker in some spots, like right in here, yeah, and then right up there you can see it. And I mean, as many times as I coated this thing, I thought it would have been okay. You can't see that in pictures. You can't see that when the doors are down, but in the sunlight you can, and that's why I kept on telling them I need to be able to see this out in the sunlight so I can see the stuff. But I mean, it's what it is. It's hard to do things, especially when half these lights don't work. If I can kick these on, I'll kick them on real quick and show you what I'm talking about, because like it's extremely disappointing to me. Extremely disappointing. So that whole row doesn't work right there, and none of those work, and then those ones kick off and on, which you can see in the video when I'm spraying the truck. It's disappointing to me that that is the way it looks, because that's not what I'm going for, and that's not what I want to, you know, give as a product when I'm doing something for somebody. And it's what it is though, and that's why I told them that I think that if we just throw a vinyl decal on the door for now, someday if they want to wrap it, because they had wanted to wrap it in the beginning, that will be easier to do, because those trim pieces and stuff like that, those come off extremely easy. So that's not a big deal for the handles and stuff like that. So I just told them throw vinyl decal up there. Less is more at this point, because I'm still trying to wrap all this project up. I'm only one guy. I've done this in like 2 months, under 90 days. So it's sometimes it's frustrating. Sometimes there's strenuous work at nights and stuff like that. But I mean, I'm here to finish the job that I started. So it is going to look better than what it did when it rolled in here. I can tell you that much right now. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. Will it ever be perfect? Probably not. But you know, it's a cool looking old truck, and it kind of matches their Cybertruck. So the yellows are a little different, and that was one thing that they, you know, stressed about, and they wanted it as close as they could to that darkness, but in the light it's a lot lighter. And I did wet sand. I wet sanded a couple of these little guys right there last night. That was the last thing I did before I shut it down. I sanded these two right here because I had a couple major runs, and like even trying to sand that pitting out was a pain in the butt, and I was using 1000 grit. I mean, I was sitting there stroking on that stuff forever. So it's and I completely missed that spot because of how it was hanging. and then the runs from it. So when I do spray them again, I've got a couple rattle cans that I'll probably spray them laying down. That way I don't have an issue. And then I need to spray the bottom of the visor, and then I'll probably respray the visor because it needs it. Now, is the paint going to be a different color? Probably. Do I know that? I don't know, because it's in a rattle can form, even though. And then I need to do this stuff still. And I'm afraid to rattle can this stuff because the overspray it could have, I don't know, from those cans. So I may just brush this stuff on to give it a little bit of a textured look. Because I mean, the whole truck has texture in it, unfortunately. I kind of made the mistake of opening one of the doors and let some air in, and I think that might have caused some problems with the curing process on the other side. But it was still warm out last week, so it's not like it was getting a bunch of cold air or anything. It's just one of those situations where, you know, things happen, and it's what it is. It does have a nice mirror shine on it too. There is a nice gloss, but there is orange peel also. There's smooth spots and there's peel spots, and you can completely see them. So it's what it is. Now, if I had the time to leisurely wet sand this whole thing and knock it down smooth and try and spray it again, I'd do that. But unfortunately I don't, because I'm on a time crunch, because they wanted it done by Matt's. And yeah, so yeah, I'll just wax it out and see what happens. I mean, it's shiny. It's shiny. I can shine up. I can shine it up, but yeah. So that's it for this. Next video, it'll probably be all the way completely done, besides the stack, because we're waiting on the elbow. It's supposed to get here midweek next week, and then that'll probably be the last thing that gets put on, is that stack and that air breather tube, which will have to be somewhat fabbed up, because I don't know about those pieces that got cut back there, if they're right or not, because that stack needs to sit between those pieces, and that air breather hooks up on the outside. So we'll see what happens when that time actually comes. I also need to do a service. Yesterday I filled up the transmission to the plug on the side, and then I pulled this off and filled it up to the plug on the side. I did jack this up to try to get some fluid to run over here. When I do start the truck, I plan on pulling it up on this angle right here and letting it sit so some more fluid can run down in that side, and then I'll pull it back in when it's on level ground. I'll open it up and check it off, and if there's anything else that needs topped off, I'll top it off. And then I'll probably check the back one too, because it needs done also. But other than that, yeah, no catwalks going on the truck because it can't. So I've got a couple touch-up spots I've got to try and hit and sex up. But I mean, and I got to try and muff that up, get that stuff off, and take care of the rest of the shit that's in there. It's never ending. It's never ending for me, folks. But that's what it is, man. I mean, it's just an old truck, and it's old truck stuff. So if you don't like it, you can go truck yourself. As far as I'm concerned, till then, you know what we say, we will see ya.
I feel nauseous, believe me. Never had a lot of shit come easy. Had to work hard, struggle just to be me. Had to rise up just so they could see me. Did what I had to do just to feed me, and what was left over I put towards my dreaming. But the only thing in life that has meaning are the things you gotta work for, believe me. Take into your hands a plan, your own hands can land your own brand. And damn, I feel like no one takes accountability. They want the credibility, convincingly unwilling to put in the fucking hours it takes to get some power. Don't be fucking sour, take a cold shower, scream until you're louder, work until you're prouder, and fuck all the doubters, they're just fucking downers. I swear to God they all let me down. I always fought just to wear the crown. I'm pissed off at these fucking clowns who were all taught they deserve an ounce. It's only worth it if you work for it. It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown.